All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. This is a cool event we're doing here for the Dallas Prospects. We're streaming this interview with Dark Avenue here live on the YouTube channel, the website, and the Facebook page. So, thank you to our special guest, Dark Avenue, coming out, Dallas's own. Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do like a quick 15-20 minute interview maybe, and then we'll do like kind of like an intermission thing. So if you're watching at home on the stream, we're just going to throw up like an intermission graphic while the guys kind of get set up, and then whenever you guys are ready, we'll continue. Stream will run the whole time, but they won't see or hear you, so no worries there. But, all right. So first, everyone, your mic volume set on your button here. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think it's on.
All right. I just wanted to double check that. Last time I did a stream here, a couple of the other guys did not know that for about 5 minutes.
Is this on? Is this on?
I think you're good. Yeah.
Right on.
All right. Okay, so you guys recently celebrated your 4-year anniversary as Dark Avenue, which congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm actually curious to rewind just a smidge beyond just that. 3 of you, I believe, were actually with Pistol Whippin' Ike prior to that, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Myself, Mario, and our drummer, Jeff Hathcock, we were all members of Pistol Whippin' Ike.
Okay, very nice. So what was the kind of transition there from Pistol Whippin' Ike to Dark Avenue just being with, because wasn't Dark Avenue initially started as a little bit of like a side project to that?
It was. So at that time, our other guitar player in Pistol Whippin' Ike, his name was Jason, he was taking some time off. He and his wife were having another kid. And Alex, the bass player, was doing a stint with a band called Low Gear. Jeff was just kind of taking a break. And during that idle time, I started kicking around doing a side project with Barry Townsend of Daylight Industries. He and I had always talked about, hey, if we ever have time, let's jam. It was crazy because it all started because we were both named Barry. And Daylight
nice.
Industries had played a Pistol Whippin' Ike show, and we were hanging out afterwards. We were just kind of joking around, and actually that kind of came to fruition. So that's kind of how it all started.
Okay, very nice.
Honestly, they just wanted Alan and I in the band because we're sexy. That's really what happened.
I like it.
Definitely. So you guys formed Dark Avenue in 2014, and your first recordings as Dark Avenue, the 5-track EP, which actually has a couple of my favorites on there, Sober and Another Day. When was that released after you guys formed? Was that like 2015 or?
So that was actually released on the day that we launched the band officially.
Oh, nice.
April 12th of 2014. We had recorded it, so where it all started was actually Mario and myself and Jonathan, your other original guitar player, had done a demo of Seasons Change, and it didn't even really have live drums on it. It had programmed drums on it at the time.
Or lyrics.
Or Mario actually wrote the lyrics as we were recording the song.
Nice.
Which actually turned out kind of well. But that happened in like November of 2013. And that demo kind of made its way around. Jeff heard it and was like, I want to be a part of this. And then that demo kind of got the attention, and the next thing we knew, we got invited to play at South by Southwest. And we're like, well, you know what? We better put the rest of the band together and write some more songs.
Yeah.
So the initial song, Seasons Change, was written in November, and then all the rest of those were written and recorded through that winter time.
Okay. And wasn't the album, or the EP, wasn't that a successful crowdfunded effort?
Actually, no, that was Illusions. Seasons
okay.
Change, we just did all on our own. We did it in our studio. We did everything ourselves on Seasons Change. And then Illusions came on the heels of that, and that was crowdfunded.
Oh, okay. So with Illusions coming out, I think it was 2016, I think is what I saw. Obviously, that's been a successful album with you guys, your first full-length album, and you've been doing shows not just throughout the DFW area, but also Austin, Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas. and shows like that. But you've also been playing and performing with bands bands with a bigger national footprint, I guess you would say, like Pop Evil, Boba Flex, Red Sun Rising, for instance. What's it like getting to kind of perform with some of those bands and just kind of going out there and knowing you can kind of hold your own, stand toe to toe?
Oh, I guess I get to talk now. I'm a little nervous because this never happens.
The only reason why I'm doing that is because I usually tend to hug the mic.
Okay.
He is the singer.
Yes.
No, it's a lot of fun to really play with some of those national acts. A lot of those guys are really nice, really cool, and it's a great experience. But I think get closer. Is that better?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So no, it's a really great experience, and I don't think we ever had anybody yet on the national level be rude to us or mean to us. Really, usually after we play, they're just blown away.
Yeah.
About, how much energy we have.
Yeah, I've seen you guys 4 or 5 times now, and I mean, not saying this just because you're literally right here. I've always thought you guys were just as good, if not even better, than the headliner for the shows.
Thank you.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes.
Darreck was totally nerding out about this interview, by the way.
Thank you.
He was really excited about this interview.
Thank you, Darreck.
All right, now that my credibility is shot. So one thing I like in particular about your sound is you guys kind of have, it's like different than most of the other sound on the scene, where you guys are able to kind of blend and cross over between that kind of alternative rock and metal thing, metal sound, where I think you guys said, it might have been in your bio that I saw this on the website, where you kind of put it, I think, really well, talking about how you can get crossover fans from everyone from Imagine Dragons to Killswitch Engage with your sound. What were some of, I guess you would say, the influences or experiences that kind of helped shape that particular sound?
Honestly, I think a lot of it happened organically. All of the members of Dark Avenue write. So, any of us will bring a song idea to the table, and we don't kind of shun it. We actually turn it into a song, do what we can to make it a good song. So you get a lot of influences from our individual backgrounds. It's not like we woke up one day and said, hey, we want Dark Avenue to sound exactly like this. Sure. Let's make a mold. All of us will bring in a song idea, and we'll turn that song into a song. They kind of have a Dark Avenue sound because we are the ones recording it, but there's really no telling where the influence came from. It just kind of depended on which one of us brought it in to begin with. So,
okay. Another thing that I kind of like is your music has, it seems like, something for everyone. For instance, you recorded a Spanish version of one of your songs, Una Vez Más. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit just on kind of the warm reception that's received and kind of how that is affecting maybe something you're going to release down the road?
Yeah, well, it's definitely propelled and opened different avenues, and this is something that we wanted to explore in previous bands, or I wanted to explore, being from Mexico and speaking fluently in Espanol. But it's something that I wanted to do for a while, and I brought it up to the guys. And not one of them said, well, you know what, we're in America. Just like Andrew was saying, everything was very organic. And I had the idea when we recorded Illusions, when we went to Cleveland, I came in, recorded all the songs that we needed to record in 2 hours or 3 hours, and they were like, well, you know what? Why don't we sing it why don't you do it in Spanish? And so sat down for about an hour or so. I had something in my head that I wanted to write, and we did. It came out really good. When we put it out there, the response was even better than we expected, because we actually had better response on that song in Spanish than it did in English.
And Someday, right?
Someday, correct. Yeah. To the point to where now at shows people requested, that we play it in Spanish, and when we don't have it, they're like, hey, what happened to Una Vez? It's my favorite song. It's like, you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't care. It just sounds good. And
I was just going to say to that, yeah, so I was on YouTube the other day just before you guys came out to the restaurant, and just doing a little bit of research on you guys and listening to your music, and me and my father-in-law were sitting there listening to the Spanish song, and I was like, wow, so Not that anyone from Mexico City looks a certain way or whatever the case may be, but I was like, wow, I didn't know that you spoke Spanish. That's great. And then to learn that you're from, the Mexico area, Mexico City, you're born in Mexico. I was really impressed with that, and then also all the comments that I saw. So all the people in Spanish that were making comments on your YouTube channel and that were saying, "Man, we love this song. This is awesome." So that was cool. That's a cool deal. You're reaching more people that way, right?
Well, and that was exactly the point. Not only in the music, but just reaching different people that may not speak the language or can identify. And that's the beautiful thing about music, that while it's universal, but when you can understand what the person is saying, it just becomes more personal.
Sure.
So I think that's what the other element that we bring to the music. And we actually have more songs coming out in the near future. So hopefully in the next show
more
that we
Spanish
play, you'll
versions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
You'll get more Spanish versions of existing songs and new songs in Spanish as well.
Something like a deluxe edition of Illusions or something like that?
Yeah, there you go.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. One of your other songs, perhaps, I guess this would probably be your biggest hit, at least in terms of the exposure it's gotten. Outside has been featured sometimes on national broadcasts for MMA events. What's it like just kind of seeing and hearing one of your songs on like that kind of platform, knowing it's got that kind of exposure for an album you self-released?
Well, it's surreal.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened to us in the last 4 years has been very surreal, because we've gotten to play and being featured in things that we never thought that we would achieve in such a short period of time. I mean, while we all been doing it for a long time, the opportunities that we have had with this band, that we continue to have, are just something that we never dreamed of. That we dreamed of, but never actually came.
Imagined, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Came to life until now, and it's been really, really cool. I mean, when you get to hear your song coming through a television program, there's just no. I mean, just like listening to yourself on the radio, it's kind of embarrassing at times. You're like,
I like
that's
the
me.
surreal word. I like
Yeah.
the surreal.
Yeah.
Well, that's what comes to my mind.
So one of the things that was really cool was the first time it was used, we reached out to the fighter that came out to it, and when he was presented with a bunch of songs to use as his come out song, and he chose that one, and
Wow.
it was really cool, and to get his feedback on it was really cool.
He personally messaged us, which
Yeah,
is really cool. Alvin Williams is his name, but
Alvin Williams.
yeah,
Very nice.
really cool guy.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
I have a quick question. What is, if you could name one band that's really influenced you musically? That's probably a hard challenge, but I'm going to ask each of you so we can go in order from my
He's
left
not
to
letting
right.
anyone off the hook.
Nobody's off the hook.
From
This is
left
a
to
hard
right.
question, but I'm just curious because I believe that music, like you said earlier, it speaks to everybody, and you're influenced in a certain way. So I was just curious who's influenced you guys the most, if there's one.
I mean, for me, it's actually pretty easy. It was the rock band Kiss. They were the first band I came across as a kid, and I still listen to them. I mean, sure, lots have came along since then, but, I definitely dig their music, so they've influenced me a lot.
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know. Growing up, probably my biggest influence and one thing I share with my father was Metallica. Yeah, that was a pretty big one for me.
Mario says Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go way back. I was gonna say Vicente Fernandez, but yeah, no, it's really hard to put it, one, because I had so many, including, members of my family, including my dad that was a singer. But when we're talking specifically to rock, Soundgarden for me was the very first band that I said, I want to do that. I want to sing like that guy. Chris Cornell was a huge influence in me and continues to be. You know, I still think, you know, kind of like, how would he write something, you know, or sing or come up with something,
Yeah.
you know, and try to put my own spin to it. So,
Man, it's really tough to name one because I had so many, but I have to say if it was one, it would have been Judas Priest. The first time I heard those dual blazing guitars, that was it. I was hooked. I was sold. And as a kid, you know, I had grown up with the Beatles. My parents, you know, had bought me Beatles records and, you know, whatever it was that my parents were listening to at the time. You know, they listened to a lot of stuff from the 60s and obviously a lot of Elvis and stuff from the late 50s and 60s. I listened to that. And then my first record was actually a Kiss record. And then I heard, like I said, I heard those blazing guitars of Judas Priest, and that was it. I was done. That was it. I was done. Yeah, done with Kiss.
Judas Priest guitars are pretty sick.
Yeah.
I think my biggest. Oh wait, sorry, I got caught up going down the line.
What's yours?
Yeah, what is it? What was it?
All right, so you guys actually just within the last couple of weeks finished up recording your newest album. Do we have any kind of idea yet on what like a title might be, or any kind of distant earmark?
Top secret.
Top secret.
That is top secret.
Always trying to break some kind of news. I mean,
We actually were battling it out last rehearsal, going through the list.
It's let's just say it's in the works. It will. The name of the album will be released very soon.
okay, cool.
It's going to be called Mexi-Go Restaurant. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not what it's going to be called.
Live at Mexico.
Yeah.
We paid a lot for that.
Okay. Well, luckily for impatient fans like me, you guys have already kind of released a couple songs with that, including a pair of music videos, which, if I'm not mistaken, at least as far as Dark Avenue, that's your first 2 music videos, correct?
Actually,
Uh-oh.
no, that's actually videos 3 and 4. So
Uh-oh.
Okay.
our very first music video was for Maybe Tomorrow from Illusions. And then Outside has a lyric music video. And then The Light was our first real big production video. And then obviously our biggest production to date is the one that just came out about a week or so ago, Don't Hold On.
Yeah. The thing of the 2 most recent ones in particular, the one that really strikes me, I think, is The Light, just because the song, both lyrically and with the music video, really tackles some important stuff. Some heavy issues and everything, with everything from depression to drug and alcohol abuse and all of that. And what I really like about it is it's not just like when the music fades out, the video ends. You guys actually spend like a moment or two then, you know, saying like, if you're struggling with these issues, you know, reach out, there is help, there is hope. And then just listing off like a litany of phone numbers, self-help lines, websites, all kinds of information for therapy, counseling, you name it. And a lot of stuff, I mean, people might know like the basics, like the basic ones, like suicide hotline and things like that. But I mean, there was all kinds of extra information on there that I bet most people have never even heard of. And I think that's good. It shows it's a really important message to you guys and everything. So I was curious what kind of like inspired that song and video.
So I think we all have some input on that. Just before we were writing the song, I lost my little cousin to suicide, which came out of the blue. And Alan, almost right after that, he lost a friend to suicide. And we've all had some people in the last few years that have either struggled with issues, being depression or substance abuse or whatever. So it's touched all 5 of us significantly in the last couple of years. So when Mario wrote that song and it had the meaning that it did, when we sat down to do the video, we knew the message that we wanted to portray with it. And like you said, at the end in the credits, you know, a lot of people know about some of the normal crisis hotlines, but we put hotlines in there for single moms that don't know what to do, for veterans, for people that have multiple issues. Maybe they are an amputee from the war and they're dealing with depression. So they have multiple issues going on. They don't know how to adapt their life.
Sure.
So we wanted to get across to as many people that are struggling with different issues as we could with that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anybody else?
Mario, I think, is going to expand.
But
Sure.
I mean, everything that that Barry was that said was correct. But I feel like whenever you have a spotlight, even if it's as small as the one that we have on us, we have a responsibility to do something with it. And especially when it's something positive, I think that's when it can take off. And people really tend to appreciate that. More so than not. And we feel that in the position that we are, like I said, even as small as we are, being a local band, but the exposure that we have and we have had in the last couple of years, we felt compelled to do something that was more meaningful than what we've been through, and just put it out there and just hope that that some people would look at it, see it, and be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I can. A lot of times, a lot of those things are embarrassing. So, it's kind of like opening the avenue. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
All right. Yeah. So you guys lately have stayed pretty busy doing shows in Austin, Texas. I mentioned also Fort Smith, and of course all the shows you do just around Dallas, DFW in general. But you've actually got a really big show coming up later this month in Oklahoma. Someone want to expound on that a little bit?
That's huge. So we're headlining the kickoff night, first night of the Rocklahoma Festival, which is one of the largest music festivals in the country. It's 4 days, Thursday through Sunday, and we are headlining night one, kicking it off.
Very nice. Yeah, so it's an annual music festival, as he mentioned. I think there are like 4 official stages.
4 official stages. This is year 19.
Year 19, wow. I didn't realize it'd been going on that long, but okay. Very nice. Yeah, and some of, I think some of the other headliners I jotted down here just for this year's show. It includes Stone Temple Pilots, Seven Dust, Red Sun Rising, Godsmack, Pop Evil, Poison, Cheap Trick, Hailstorm, and just a litany of others. So
Perfect Circle.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. And it's, again, I love using this word because it really describes what we go through every time we get a call and say, hey, you guys are headlining the first night of Oklahoma. And it's kind of like, oh, the show that Perfect Circle is playing, and Godsmack, and I mean, just like you said, you can keep going down the list. And
I just got tired of writing at that point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just it's surreal. I don't have another word. Surreal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So I guess the last thing I wanted to see if maybe we could get would be like some kind of liner or some kind for the website. Just something where you guys kind of like self-identify, just like identify yourself, say, we are Dark Avenue, and then just the website tagline. And remember, every legend was once a prospect.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I just work here. I don't know.
I just sing here.
Yes, we can probably handle that.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, if we can do that, that'd be great. And then we can get set up and throw it to the intermission so you guys can get set up for the acoustic set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whoever's watching, someone watching?
Yeah, we're still streaming.
Just kidding. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. So we truly appreciate all our fans. TheProspect.com. Thank you, Darreck, for inviting us, and thank you for Mexi-Go for making this happen, man. I know this. We've talked for a long time about doing this, and finally it's happening. So Thank you for. We're very humbled to be here and
Yes,
for all the
agreed.
opportunities that we've had. So
We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming out. If it was just me talking to myself up here, it'd be really hard to get people in the door.
be real awkward.